called Jason Wilkinson. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Can you introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Jason Wilkinson. I'm a lieutenant with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
And what are you the lieutenant over?
Persons Crimes Unit, the ICAC Task Force, our Digital Forensics Lab, and K9.
How long have you been employed by the Bexar County Sheriff's Office?
About 18 years.
And were you in that role as lieutenant over persons crimes in September of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to draw your attention to September 4th of 2024. Did you receive any notification that there was an active shooter at Apalachee High School?
Yeah, I had turned my radio down. I was going to make a phone call, and Lieutenant Roberts come running in the hall saying there was an active shooter at Apalachee.
And when you say Lieutenant Roberts came running down the hall, were you at the...
I was at the Sheriff's Office, yes, ma'am, our main office.
Okay. And is she the lieutenant over property crimes?
Over property crimes, yes, ma'am.
When she came running down the hall telling you that there was an active shooter, what did y'all do?
We ran outside, got in our cars, and drove down there and got there as quick as we could.
About how far away are y'all from Apalachee?
I don't know how many miles. I mean, we were in excess of 100 most of the way. It took about 4 or 5 minutes to get there.
Around what time did you arrive?
Right around 10:30, I believe.
What did you do when you arrived?
I got there, got out of the car, threw on my vest, and we went inside and started searching.
Okay. When you got there, who was already in the building?
The SROs, there's a few of them in there. There's a few that went in ahead of me. Who all was in there exactly, I don't know. It was just go inside and try to stop the threat.
When you went in, did you know that the shooter had been captured or if there were other shooters?
Didn't know that, and we thought there could have been a second shooter. So with our training, if you don't hear gunshots, you start searching. So as I came across classrooms that were unlocked, I'd go in by myself and make sure no one was in there. So
when you were searching, did you come across any injured individuals?
yeah, so on the back hall, J hall, there's a student that got my attention, and that was Miss Irman's classroom. So I go in there to see what was going on. There was a female laying in the floor. There's a lot of blood. The student that helped her, he had done a really good job. He had held pressure. Her bleeding had stopped, and I knelt down to try to help her out, and her skin was pretty pale. It just kept getting paler. Her lips kept getting bluer, and she just said, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And, I'm not, I mean, it's outside the scope of my medical training. Just her symptoms to me didn't make sense for what I've been trained in. And all I could really do, I had a tourniquet on me, but where her injury was at, you can't put a tourniquet there. The bleeding had stopped. I mean, it was, but she said she couldn't breathe. That just didn't make any sense. I didn't know what to do, and I just kept yelling for medics. And a few minutes later, some medics came in, and I got out of their way and left the room and went back out in the hallway and tried to help out where I could.
So with Miss Irmy, you did everything you knew how to do and waited until EMS arrived?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, she was talking, so her airway wasn't obstructed. She was breathing. It was late. It was she had difficult breathing. Said she couldn't breathe, but just for her symptoms, it was outside the scope of my training. I didn't know how to help her.
When EMS arrived and you kind of got out of their way so they could help her, did you become aware that she died that day?
No, I had thought they left with her. I thought she made it. I didn't know they put her in the room across the hall. Later, I did the walkthrough with the GBI crime scene, and we found this woman in this room. It was the break room. There was no bullet holes in her door. It didn't make any sense. Like, why is she in here? And I was under the impression Miss Irma had been transported. So I just couldn't put two and two together. And later, I did help place her in a body bag, and I did help the coroner remove her from the scene. And then at night, couldn't stop thinking about it. And next morning, called the fire chief, and that's when I found out that was actually Miss Irma.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 41. Do you recognize that?
Yeah, that's Christine Irma.
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to introduce in evidence State Exhibit 41, which is a school picture of Anna Christina Irmi.
No objection.
All right, 41's moved.
I'd like to display it for the jury. And you indicated that as Miss Irmi?
Yeah.
And was she one of the deceased at Apalachee that day?
Yes, ma'am.
So you indicated that you then, I guess, started clearing the school more. Can you tell the jury what you did after you left Miss Irmi's room?
Went down the hallway. There was a Hispanic juvenile female that had a gunshot wound to the shoulder. The injury was too high for a tourniquet, so another investigator held pressure and walked her out to the medics. Once the wounded was evacuated, we started evacuating some students. At this point in time, the suspect was still in custody. He was still laying on the floor in handcuffs. So I moved him to an empty classroom. I told the deputy to keep an eye on him, and I needed him interviewed. So I ran to go find investigator Jason Smith, found him in the cafeteria. And I said, hey, we got one in custody. I need you to interview him. And we go running back, and I put those two in a room together, and that's where investigator Smith conducted his interview.
Did you eventually find out where Colt lived?
Well, at the time, the deceased male in the floor of the hallway, I don't know if y'all have introduced everybody yet, but at the time it was unknown. Someone mentioned he was with the shooter and opened the door and asked the suspect if he was with him. He said no.
Judge, we're going to object any hearsay.
We'll move on, Your Honor.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
So I did ask the suspect where his address was, and then called over the radio to the media center to have deputies go to that address and secure it for a search warrant.
Okay. And as lieutenant over persons, were you in control of the investigation at that point?
Yeah, I supervised the Bexar County Sheriff's side of it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who did you assign as the lead investigator from the Bexar County Sheriff's Office?
Jason Smith.
And did y'all call in the Georgia Bureau of Investigation for help as well?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they were a big part of it.
Nothing further. He may have some questions for you though.
Okay.
Cross.
No questions, sir.
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.